Hi there, welcome to Carla is Crafty, episode 77. If you don't know me, my name's Carla. I'm a mom, a wife, and a midwife, and I'm a born again Christian, and I love people enough to tell them that. Well, we're just going to dive right in. We're going to talk about the few little things I've made. We'll talk about the craft fair I attended. We'll talk about my trip I made. So, the first thing I made was this cute little chicken egg by Oak and Marlowe. She does the big chicken Mabel chicken. Anyway, so there's a pattern for this little egg, which is really inexpensive on Etsy. And then this comes, I think, with the mama chicken and the baby chicken pattern. So I made two of these. I made this. This is the Cozy Comfort yarn from Hobby Lobby. This is vanilla Bernat blanket yarn. And then that's just yellow red heart. And I used little tiny 10 millimeter safety eyes. I actually made two of these. The other one sold at market. The other one was made out of the Bernat. I think it's speckled yarn. Anyway, tweed. Maybe it's tweed yarn. Anyway, this kind of yarn. And so I made two of those. I made a No So Skunk from Stacy Makes pattern. Stacy Makes on YouTube. I know, isn't he cute? I thought he was adorable. Bernat blanket yarn black, Bernat blanket yarn vanilla. The only 18 millimeter safety eyes I had were these blue ones, but I still think they look super cute on him. So I will definitely make more of him. I actually made those items the night before my market. I didn't have anything I really needed to make, so I had picked up some new patterns, and I thought, oh, I think I'll make those because they seem like they'd be pretty quick makes, and they were. And then the other thing I made was this Ross hat. My sweet friend Sandra gave me a cake of paint box yarn, and I'd never tried. This is their chunky pots. The name of this yarn is Making Hay, and very appropriate, I think, with those colors. It is 100% acrylic, 200 grams, 297 yards, and this says it's a 5, but to me, well, no, this is a 4-weight. This is a worsted. I do really like it. I will say, it may be like a heavier 4 because it does make a pretty good size hat. And I didn't make this like extra long or anything. It looks really cute on though, and I really like that it's got kind of a tweedy color variation in the lighter colors there. So um, that was really cute. If I run across that yarn again, once I go through my stash of yarn that I'm using to make hats with, I probably would pick some more up because it's got a very good texture. It's soft and it works up really, really nice. Other than that, oh, that's a Ross hat pattern. And again, the patterns and you know, if I bought new yarns, I will probably link those below. Joys in progress, not really anything new in that. I'm making another one of those Ross hats because I think I'll get another 2 hats out of that cake of yarn because it's 297 yards. And so a lot of times you can get quite a bit out. I need to weigh that hat so I know how much I used and see how much I can get out of it. Because if I may adjust it and make smaller, like baby hats or something like that out of it. But other than that, I don't really have anything new going on. And I know that's not a lot of makes for the amount of time I've been off here, but I had a 5-day trip and 80 hours of work in 7 days and a craft fair and all that in the last couple of weeks since I talked to you guys. And so that might be why I haven't done a lot of other stuff. And I don't have anything new on the burner other than I have picked up some new plushy patterns that I want to play with. And I do have some custom orders to do. So my craft fair, I took 120 items valued at $2,224. I sold 9 items for $176. All of that in cash except 15 was a Cash App purchase. My booth fee was $25, which included lunch, and I paid $5 for a ticket for my husband who hung out with me all day for lunch. And so, and then gas getting there and back. So whatever the case may be, were it not for the fact that I got to visit with my nieces during that, because that's the town where they live, and they encouraged me to attend that craft fair with them. If it weren't for the fact that I'd got to spend time visiting with them, and then I met some really super nice people, it would not have been worth packing all my stuff up and trotting it over there and packing it up and bringing it back, because that 9 items. But I got to spend time with family, and that's good. Family that I don't get to spend time with very much, and it wasn't a long drive, and we had a good day and had a good lunch. I mean, they had this line of, it's church women, so the food's going to be excellent, right? They just line up of crock pots. There was chicken and noodles, chicken and rice soup. There was potato soup with ham chunks in it. There was cowboy beans. There was taco soup. There was chili. I mean, you name it. If you can put it in a crock pot and cook it, I can't speak, then it was there. And then, they had like crackers and cornbread and Fritos and whatever you wanted to go with it, cheese and onions, things like that. And then they had a nice little setup for desserts. I got a little tiny brownie, which was delicious, chocolate. And my husband had a slice of cheesecake. And then, of course, they had tea and coffee and sweet tea, water. So it was good. And it was an enjoyable day. So I'm not fussed about that. Was it less sales than I was expecting for an actual craft fair? I mean, it was a craft fair for craft vendors, right? And something that was a little upsetting, the most upsetting thing to me was not the fact that I didn't sell a whole lot. It was the fact that most of the people with handmade crafts were not selling. But what was selling were these people who come in with their businesses that they sell for major, big online sales groups. I'm not going to mention any names of products, but there were at least two in the room where I was, and in the other building, I don't know if there were any. But to me, it was a craft fair for handmade crafts. We had people there who made jams and jellies, bath salts, ornaments, wooden items, crocheted items, sewn items, all sorts of things that these people, and the prices were very reasonable. There was a woman there who did laser engraving and cut things out of wood with her little laser, and she was selling the cutest little earrings for like 75 cents. There was another lady who goes and buys Levi's kids jackets at resale places and off of Etsy, wherever she can find them, and repurposes them and decorates them and stuff, and she's selling them for $5-10. I mean, that's crazy. And the people that were doing crochet and things like that, like I did, and sewing things, we did not have high prices on our items. And you're thinking, oh, well, it's a small town and there's probably not a lot of spendable income. But I watched person after person go to this woman across the aisle from me who sells this product to, I think this product is overpriced, okay? And I think that the way they treat their consultants is horrible, because I have a friend who does consulting for them, and I would like for her not to, because I think they're terrible to her, and kind of encourage her to, not encourage, I mean, they just browbeat them to sell more product and more product, and it's ridiculous. And you have to realize the market gets saturated anyway, but people were just in droves going over there and buying from her, and I'm like, okay, it's a craft market. And I guess I'm not going to tell people who run these markets, oh, you shouldn't have them there, but it's a craft market, and that's not a craft that you made. But that's just kind of my opinion. It's not that people didn't have money to spend, because they were spending a lot of money on that, but yet they weren't willing to pay for handmade items. So, and I know those things that she was selling, that product is not inexpensive. So I was just really shocked. But there's my little rant about that. Next week, and if it doesn't rain, there's like a 50% chance of rain on Saturday, and it's an outdoor farmers market. Our farmers market in Rogers County does holiday market for like 4 weeks in November and December. And so I was going to do a couple of those, and next Saturday was the first one. And it's just a 4-hour market, but it's a farmer's market. So you have to have made it to be able to sell there. Okay. So, and hopefully people at their holiday market for a farmer's market are looking for handmade items and might want to buy more things. And so hopefully I'll get to do that if it doesn't rain, because like I said, it is outdoors. So that might be they may cancel it, and I think that's one of the reasons they don't make you pay for your booth up front, because they may end up canceling. And anyway, maybe we'll do that. insofar as acquisitions, I did order some Hobie yarn, Honey Bunny, in some because it's their chenille yarn because I got a couple of special orders from people for things for Christmas, so I ordered from them because unfortunately, even though I love Premier Parfait, they did not have all the colors I was looking for. Either they didn't have the colors or they weren't in stock. And so I ended up ordering the Honey Bunny, which I've heard is really good. I've not used it before, but hopefully it is good. And so when I get that, I'll show you my yarn haul. Yay. And then let's see. I thought it might help me sell my chickens a little easier. So I found these little baskets at Dollar Tree. Aren't those cute? And I thought, oh, those look like little chicken nests or something. I don't know. So I bought 2 of each of these. Didn't help. Nothing. They didn't sell, but I still think they're a cute item. And it was, $5 for the 4 of them. And so I'll keep trying to sell chickens, and I need to adjust again. I'm sitting on this wrong and trying to knock my printer off in the floor. I'm just having a day of it, right? So got those, and then I'll show you the things that I got when I went on my trip, because I did get a few things when I went on my trip to Tennessee. Other than that, I really haven't purchased anything. Patterns. I guess I could link all the patterns I purchased below because I have bought a few of those. I guess I could talk about what I sold at the market. I guess I could say that. So I did, like I said, I've got an apron order that I need to get made. I sold my dog paw print dish mat bag. And the lady who bought it was excited. And I had at least 2 other people come up and ask me if I had any more of them because they thought it was so cute. They wanted one, but I only had the one. I sold a possum, one of my little possums. I sold the white chicken, the egg. I sold one of my gingerbread man. I had 2 of those and I sold one. I sold a snowflake and green swirl apron, another one of my crisscross aprons. I sold the Midi Christmas bag, one of my quilted bags, and I sold my regular size sea turtle. That was that pink and green. I'd made a jumbo, and then I made 2 regular size when I sold the other regular size one at my last market, and then I sold this one this time. And the only thing I purchased at the market was some $8 fudge from my niece because she makes really delicious fudge. So I did buy fudge. My husband spent $10 and bought a jar of jalapeno jelly because we like jalapeno jelly. And I had brought him back some jelly from the farmer's market I went to in Tennessee, and he's gone through almost the whole jar, and so we bought some more. So now we'll talk about my trip to Tennessee. I had so much fun going to see Sandra. Got a flight Friday, went down, met up with her about 3:30 or so. We drove over to the next town over where they have a Michael's and a Joann's because I was looking for the yarn I needed, the plushy yarn I needed to make those items. Their Michael's, I don't know about anywhere else, and I haven't been to one of our Michael's in Tulsa in months, but the only chenille yarn they had was their own brand, which is what it is. I don't have a problem with Michael's loops and thread. Well, I don't like all of it, but that's the thing. But that loops and threads was all they had, and the color selection was terrible. But they didn't have any Premier. I guess you can buy it online from them maybe, but they didn't have any in store. The only thing I saw other than Loops and Threads brand in their entire store was they had Burnett blanket yarn. And even at that, it's thicker yarn. I didn't need that size of yarn. And even, there weren't, even if I could have found the colors, I might have tried to make it work, but they didn't have those colors anyway. Then we went over to Joann's, and their Joann's, wow, like it's tiny. And it had like no selection, even though they had their own, what is Joann's brand? Big Twist. They have Big Twist chenille, which their Big Twist chenille is weird, I think. Plush, I think it's called plush, but I think it's really odd feeling. And I've made stuff with it and I don't mind it, but again, not the colors I need. And come on, why do we not have? I mean, they had some Bernat yarn. Neither one of these stores had the Bernat Mystical, which is the big thing everybody's talking about now. So it is what it is. They didn't have it. I didn't get it. And then we stopped and picked up dinner and went back to her house and just hung out and crocheted and visited for the evening. And then I headed over to the hotel and I stayed at a really nice place there in town, which I'm pretty sure must be haunted because of his age and the architecture and stuff. But if it was, it did not bother me because every night I slept there, I slept really well and was not disturbed at all. So maybe it's not haunted. I don't know. Then Saturday was their farmers market, and it was the last regular farmers market of the season. And so it was the week before Halloween, so they encouraged the vendors to dress up, and the kids came and trick-or-treated. And there was a lot more of that than I think people buying things again. I mean, my friend sold a couple of things. Our other friend that lives down there, she was had her stuff in the booth too, and she does plushies, and she sold some things. But I bought some sourdough scones. They were cranberry orange or pumpkin spice. I bought some of those and we snacked on those. They were delicious. They had a couple of people there that did bakery stuff. Sandra bought from the other bakery cart, she bought some carrot cake, like muffins. Now, I'm not a fan of carrot cake only because there's raisins in it, okay? Now, I'll eat it, but I'll pick the raisins out because it's a texture thing. I don't like raisins. I like dried cranberries, like raisins, but raisins just, prunes, raisins, me. So we snacked on that a little bit too, and it was delicious also. And then I bought some pineapple pizzazz jam, which is like this pineapple based jam that has some heat to it. Not so much that I can't eat it, but it does have a nice kick to it. I got some of that for my husband. Then I got myself a couple of Christmas jellies from 2 different vendors. And then we checked out everybody, and I bought, one of the ladies does t-shirts and sweatshirts. And so, I had to have a t-shirt to represent. So I got that, and I got one of her sweatshirts. She does embroidery too, and so she has an embroidery machine. And so I got this that's, big TN for Tennessee, and it's got Tennessee orange, I know. But I thought that was super cute. And then one of the vendors where I picked up some, what did I get there? Oh, I got some steak seasoning, which I left in the other room. But I also got some of their mulling spices. And you can't see it. You can't see it now because it must have fallen to the bottom. But it's got a big star anise in there and stuff. But oh my gosh, I'm sure it's like just, that smells so good. It's got cloves and it's got cinnamon and all sorts of stuff in it. And yeah. See, there's a big star. But it smells like oranges and cranberries, and it just smells wonderful. And so the people that they do all these different spices, it's got orange peel, cinnamon, allspice, cloves, cardamom, star anise, black peppercorn, Huckleberry Moon Farm in Telford, Tennessee. And they also, when they sell their mulling spices, they give you some bags to put them in so that, when you're doing your mulled cider or mulled wine or whatever you're doing, then your spices don't stay in it. And so they gave me a couple of those bags because you can use it more than once. And then they had a recipe for mulled wine and mulled cider, which I thought was really cool. Anyway, so I'm going to make some mulled cider this holiday season because it will make my house smell fantastic and it will taste delicious. I think that's all the stuff I purchased at market, but we had a good time. And then we went and had some Greek food at lunch at the Mad Greek. And oh no, that was on Monday, wasn't it? Where did we eat on Saturday? It doesn't matter. I mean, it's just food, right? But we had a nice lunch, and then we decided just to pick some. Uh, we just ate leftovers, I think. Um, oh no, was that the night we? No, that was Sunday. Anyway, Sunday we were both kind of tired, and it wasn't a it wasn't a rush around, do things, entertain each other. It was just spending time together, crocheting and visiting and talking and stuff. It was like a mini crochet retreat for us. So then Sunday we didn't feel like going anywhere. We were going to go do some things, but we decided we'd wait till Monday. And we basically just sat around and talked and crocheted. And we went to the store and got stuff and came back to the house. And she made some delicious pork tenderloin and some potatoes using spices from those people that she knows from the market. And they were delicious. And so I have something to look forward to when I season my steak and stuff with those seasonings. And I might do a pork tenderloin too, because there's probably enough seasoning there to do that too. And then again, we just kind of relaxed and enjoyed ourselves. And then on Monday was my last full day there. And we went to Jonesboro to the Christmas store called Gabriel's. And we went to another store called Noel. And Sandra bought me an ornament. She and I both love peppermint, okay? It's one of my favorite smells, one of my favorite everything. And so I picked this little ornament up. I thought it was super cute. And she's like, oh, let me buy that for you. So she bought it for me. Then we went over to Noel, and they had all of their fall stuff like 40% off or something like that. And so I got this candle. Oh, it smells wonderful. It's cinnamon cider. And oh man, aromatic. Oh, sorry, aromatic is the name of it. But anyway, it smells wonderful. And that's going to smell great burning in my kitchen too. And I picked up a little magnet for one of my friends that says, I just want to drink coffee and pet my dog, because she likes coffee and she loves her dog. If it would have said something about crochet on it, that would have made it perfect, because she likes to crochet too. And then I also got her one of those soup packet mixes, that you can find different places. It's for like a squash, some kind of squash. That's terrible. I should know what kind of squash it was. Anyway, she had been talking about making some of that soup. And so I thought, oh, I'll just take her that mix and she can make it, and hopefully it'll be good. And probably won't be as good as what she makes from scratch. But so then we went to Kingsport to meet up with another friend. And we went to Ben Franklin. When I was a kid, we had a Ben Franklin in the town where I grew up. Okay. And I mean, it was kind of a variety store or whatever. I don't remember having so many crafts. Of course, I wasn't doing crafts when I was a kid either. And of course, that's been decades. It's been decades since I have been in a Ben Franklin store. Well, the Ben Franklin stores now are mainly, I mean, it says Ben Franklin craft store. So basically they're craft stores. And it's probably a good thing they don't have one close to me, because it was like a kid in a candy store. The amount of craft stuff they had. And again, I was looking for yarn, for chenille yarn. Now, they really didn't have any chenille yarn. They had a huge selection of burlap blanket. They didn't have the mystical either, but they had a huge selection of burlap blanket and baby blanket and variegated blanket. I mean, it was really, really nice. And, Sandra was in thread heaven, because they had all this crochet thread and things like that. And they had other brands too. They didn't have anything that just jumped out at me. I didn't end up buying any yarn. I know you're shocked. But, I just didn't see anything that I really felt like I needed. So I didn't get any yarn. But I did pick up this really cute, they had these dresses on clearance, and it's just a little, I think it's silk and rayon or something like that. And it's just a little tank dress, but I thought it was super cute, for $7. And I know it's a tank dress and I don't like going around with my arms exposed, but you know what? I can wear a little jacket over it. It would be really cute. It's pretty lightweight, so I mean, it's more of a summer thing, but still, who could resist for $7? And then I picked up a some tulle in this. I can't remember. I think they're 6 inches wide, the cones, and made some scrubbies out of it uh, because I could. And you can't always find that stuff everywhere you go. And so I just picked some up and made some, because it was something I needed, something just kind of easy and mindless to crochet while I was sitting visiting, because I like to be busy with my hands and it's hard for me just to sit and not do anything. But then I also picked up some little wooden ornaments. Well, I guess they're technically not ornaments, they're just little wooden plaque looking things that I'm going to make some ornaments for some friends for Christmas. And I'll have to get my handy dandy Ryobi drill out and drill holes in them so they can be ornaments, but I think it will be easy because the wood's not very super thick. So hopefully I'll do it without splintering the wood all to bits, but you never know. Me with a power tool may not be a good thing. I think that's all I got. They had some really cute t-shirts and sweatshirts, and they had a huge selection of like blank shirts, Gildan, and jerseys for like making things. But again, I'm getting on a plane, so I can't buy a whole bunch of stuff to throw in my suitcase. And then I can't remember what the other girls got. I mean, just a few things here and there. And then that's the day we went to the Mad Greek in Kingsport and had hero sandwich, on the pita, and they each got something different. I got the lamb and beef with the tzatziki sauce. Oh, it was so good. And then I don't even know if you can hear me on this microphone that's been flipped inside my shirt the whole time. Uh-oh. You may not be able to hear me. And then we got some baklava to go to share later. And it was really good and sweet and sticky. And I didn't eat very much of it because it was so sweet, but it was delicious. And that was kind of the end of it. We ended up eating the other half of our lunch for dinner that night, so we didn't have to cook or do anything. And then we just again sat and visited and crocheted, and something my husband, I think he said, wow, that sounds really boring, going to the Christmas shop and the craft shop and sitting around and crocheting sounds really boring. And I'm like, well, when you're with good friends, it doesn't really matter. So we had a blast, and I can't wait to go again. And I will. My flight home was pretty amazing. The small, tiny airport near her home that I flew out of, actually, it's the second time I've flown out of there, and our flight has been delayed. And it was delayed about 30 minutes, and they're like, well, we're still going to get there on time. I think they pad their, like it says you're going to board at this time and arrive at this time. I think they really pad that because they know that they get requested to delay a lot, because when you're flying into Charlotte and they need to delay somebody, they're going to delay these little tiny flights, right? But even though we were delayed, we got there about 3 minutes after our stated arrival time, originally. And I had a 90-minute layover. So I grabbed me a coffee and went over to the gate and hung out. And then we got on board the plane and flew into Tulsa. We actually arrived about 20 minutes before we were supposed to. So we got there early, and I went down, and when I had arrived in Tennessee, my suitcase was the first one off of the conveyor belt, which was amazing. I've never had that happen, which I thought was pretty cool. And so we get to Tulsa, and I'm texting my husband. I'm like, yeah, but that won't happen again. And he said, oh, well, how spooky would that be if it did? And I'm like, well, it was the third one off the conveyor belt. It wasn't the first, but it was the third. I mean, we arrived early, no problems, no delays there, got to the airport early, got my bag quickly. And then I wheel it outside to the where they come pick you up, because I always take my car to one of the parking things and leave it there. And literally, I walk out and walk up under the sign where the shuttles are, and they pull up. And I get on board. Another gentleman got on board just before me. There's just two of us. And normally they sit there and wait for a while to fill up the bus. But I guess at that time of day or on that particular time, they weren't expecting a lot of people. So he just took us. So, I mean, like, boom, off the plane, got my bag, got in the shuttle, go over, get my car out of Hawk for the few days that sat in their garage, and headed home. And it was really nice. So I got home in a really timely manner, and that was very enjoyable. It's always nice. Flight delays stink, but especially when you're trying to get home because your vacation is over and you're not out having fun anymore and you're just ready to be home. So that was good. So got home, and it was just a nice evening. And now I had to jump right back into work the next day because it was the only way the schedule would work for me to go on my trip, was for me to go back. But it was just an 8-hour shift, so it wasn't like it was crazy or anything. And then I worked a couple of 8-hour shifts. Friday I had the day off, which ran some errands. I had a doctor's appointment, just kind of did some things. And then Friday night we went over and set up for the craft fair. Saturday we did the craft fair, and then here we are today. And yeah, it was good though. We had a good time. I mean, you just can't, again, I know I said this last time, the value of good friendships and the value of just spending time with those people is just priceless. And so we got to do it. We absolutely have to do it. All right. Well, I think that's it. I was going to look at my little notebook and see if there was anything else. Did I not show you guys my All From Jade stuff I made last time? I thought I did. Hang on a minute. I thought I showed you guys these. I don't have it down on my paper that I did. But anyway, this is her caterpillar. Isn't he adorable? And he articulates. So you make all the little pieces and then you hook them together. And I just thought he was super cute. I just made him with colors I had. I really feel like I have told you guys these. Anyway, and I did the butterfly too. Isn't that adorable? I just thought that was so cute. So anyway, I bought the pattern pack. It's got other patterns in it, but I haven't made the other ones. I just made these two. So anyway, and I think maybe I did show those to you, and I just didn't, I'd lost my book, and so I wrote everything down after the fact, after watching my video. So I may have missed that I showed you those, but if I showed you them, I'm sorry. You guys have a great week. Remember, Jesus loves you, and so do I. And I will see you again soon. Bye.